So here's our dashboard where we can see analytics and real-time information for our entire call center. As we can see, we've got about 5,000 open cases. About 25% of those have been escalated, but we've got an 81% first contact resolution across the entire group. We can take a look at how my various agents are performing and how many cases they have handled. We can take a look at the correlation of talk time and total time for a case. After we implement a new knowledge base repository system, we can see a dramatic drop in the overall time it takes to find information as well as resolve the overall case. We're also tracking things like average handle time for the individual call center rep, as well as the total number of minutes that it takes them to resolve a case. We can see down here across the entire team how many of the cases were resolved in the first call or live chat or required 2 or 3 or more calls. And we can also see the volume of the cases by day. What I'm going to do now is click the answer button up here at the top, and what that's doing is simulating an incoming call from David Aaron. In this use case, David Aaron has clicked option 1 for English, he's clicked option 3 for a question about a bill, and then he's pressed 0 to speak to an operator. Before I can move forward in the process, I do have to verify at least 3 different pieces of information. This is a HIPAA compliant verification process that writes back to the core Dynamics record that the user, in this case Grayson, verified these 3 pieces of information with a time and date stamp for compliance. We can see high-level detail about the member's health insurance plan. We can see their related claims, billing, and clinical information here in the center. And then we can also see the recent cases that they've had where they've called in with billing and claim questions in the past. One thing to note here on the top right corner is we are establishing an index for this particular person's learning style. What we've learned over historical interactions with David, that he really does follow doctor's orders. When the doctor says he needs to do something, he generally does it. So we've taken that information and put this into a next best action here that's personalized with information about David. So David was recently diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. We haven't seen a glucose tolerance test yet, and because we know he follows doctor's orders, we're going to prompt the customer service rep to use the doctor's name to maximize the likelihood of David accepting that offer. Had he leaned more toward the independent side, we might tell him that, hey, this is the reason that 9 out of 10 physicians recommend doing this type of service. Had he been on the avoidance side, we might say, hey, did you know that people that don't get this test are significantly more likely to develop complications, using a little bit more of that fear-based tactic. But even though he's calling in with a question about a claim, we are still going to take advantage of that interaction to try to get him to schedule this appointment in our next best action set. Now that we have made the offer, I'm going to click the verify button, and we can see that his information has been verified. The next thing that's going to happen is I'm going to tell the system that he's got a question about a claim. So by clicking the call script over here on the left-hand side, we're going to trigger a couple of actions. The first thing that you'll notice here is we have the ability to invoke other applications and pass context between the two of them. Because I've told the system that this is a claim inquiry, and because in this use case all claim adjustments and activities are handled within facets, we can go ahead and automatically pass context of David Aaron's information to facets and drill down to his individual claim. The other thing that's happened here is we've created a new case in Dynamics. We've given it a title. We've told the system that it is a claim inquiry. It's coming from this customer and that he called in via phone. The other thing that you'll notice is over here on the right-hand side, we've also automatically searched the knowledge base repository for any keywords or any knowledge articles that relate to claim inquiry. So I can click on the claim inquiry, or I'm sorry, the how to submit an insurance claim knowledge base article, read all the information on how to do this, advise the customer, and ultimately come up here and resolve this customer service case. Before I do that, I do want to also show you the speech-to-text translation feature. So I can ask a question simply, my EOB does not match the bill I received. Is that something you can help me with, please? So not only are we able to pick up keywords in the capture stream and go ahead and search the knowledge base repository for appropriate knowledge articles, we're also looking at the sentiment of the caller. And in this use case, the score is 76. This is on a 0 to 1 scale, so this was a relatively positive question. And we can note that based on keywords and inflections and the fact that I said please at the end of it. So now I'm going to resolve this case. We're going to put in that the problem was solved. And we are done with that specific call. The next use case is going to be customer service from the web. So I've navigated to my portal here, and I'm taking off my customer service rep hat and more focusing on what the experience for a customer would be. So I land on the web page, I click the live chat button here. I do have to enter my name. Had I already authenticated via the portal, we wouldn't have to do this, but I've got this set up to be an anonymous portal. And I'm going to say I have a question about a bill. Now what's going to happen is on the Unified Service Desk side, I'm going to see that I have a chat alert here. I'm going to go ahead and click that, which is going to go ahead and start a chat session with the person from the portal. We're automatically going to search for the name that was provided. We can see that, yes, this is David Aaron, so we're going to select him. And now I'll be able to see his questions coming over from the portal and how I can chat with him remotely. So I can chat back and forth between the web portal and Unified Service Desk, but where this gets really powerful is when I invite this customer to co-browse with me. So I'm going to do a quick screen share here where we can see both screens. The left-hand side is what the customer is seeing. The right-hand side is what the agent would see. And so I get an invitation here to co-browse. I'm going to click the accept button. And what's going to happen is I'm going to be able to see everything that they see on the screen. So as I scroll up and down, we'll see the same behavior over here on the right-hand side. Now, as an agent, I could guide this person using dots here to say, hey, this is where you go to find one of our locations, or this is where you can read about our company. I can also annotate on the screen, so if I wanted to say use this link and not this link, I can do so very easily. The other thing I can do is actually push a file. So if he had a question about a bill and I wanted to collaborate with him on the bill in real time, on the right-hand side I asked him if I could send him a document. The customer clicks the OK button, and then I'm going to be able to see the bill in real time. So I can come down here to the section that has all the totals. And as the customer service agent, I can highlight certain information saying these are the charges that you have to pay. And lastly, I can even take control of their browser and guide them very easily to different sections, close windows, make clicks for them, and the like. Thank you.